everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host, Josias Abril, and published author. Remember, folks, I just recently got my name legally changed, and it will be official in like 2 weeks. So I'm excited because of the meaning of the name and all that good stuff. But um, well, with us today we got a queen. We got we got a queen. I I want you to tell us about I want you to tell us about you before we get started. So I know you got a pretty inspiring platform going on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I go by Big Tiny, because I've been in the gym. I'm getting a little swole,
Oh, there you
so
go.
but you can find me everywhere on Instagram, socials, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere is indescribable. So I am a singer slash songwriter and a comedian, well, comedic actress. And I also have my own online clothing business. This line was inspired because I feel like a lot of times in media, whether it be social media, TV, movies, whatever, a lot of times Black people just, we are represented as less than or less valuable, things like that. So I wanted to create something that would speak directly to people who look like me. So
Mhm.
it's called Okay to Be Apparel, and all of the clothing is positive, uplifting messages. It's a couple of catchphrases from some of my content. And it's doing well. I love, what I do. I love teaching other people how to do it. And the songs, the comedy, and all that stuff. It's just really my gift. I enjoy it. It's therapy. It's a release for me, but it's also helping other people. So it's something that I have grown over the past few years. I'm completely full time doing it. I ain't got no job, is what I tell people.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I really do enjoy being able to touch people and inspire people through my gift and my talents.
Yes, two things. Three things actually. Um, One, I saw your live the other day when you were like, "I'll quit a job in a second because God will, God will take care of me." Look,
Period. He done always took care of me. He not gonna stop tomorrow. Ain't
right?
no reason to sit here. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to
Yes,
ourselves?
yes. And it's funny that you said that because I was literally talking to one of my best friends, Alex. Hey, Alex, I know you're listening. I was literally talking to him the other day, and I was like, I just can't do it. I just cannot settle at a place that's not going to respect me, things like
Mhm.
that. I'm just like right now, like I'm not working. I haven't worked in 2 years. I'm currently a student, a grad student, but I still like haven't worked in 2 years. But God is always taking care of me, never been late on a payment or
I
things
know
like
that's right.
that. Yeah, and so it's like cuz the job that I was at 2 years ago, I mean, I finally told myself I was like I don't have to stay in the situation. It's damaging my mental health. It's yeah, just not for me. And I was like they're not going to, treat me well. Um this is my life. This is my time. I'm not money's just not worth that to me.
Hmm.
To cost my mental health, to cost just I don't know, self-respect and stuff like that. Especially when I know like I did the best that I could and I did
Right.
phenomenal at the job, So
Right.
I know I'll quit a job in a second. I was just like in a hot minute. I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah. So that was
But
beautiful.
that's one of the topics that we're covering today, not settling. Because
Mhm.
like, why compromise, who you are, your safety, your peace of mind, your
Yeah.
sanity, your self-esteem? Why compromise,
Right.
those things when you just don't have to? It's not
Right.
about going somewhere else to get those things,
Yeah.
it's just about, hey, I don't have to do this.
Right.
I ain't gotta do this.
Right. Yes, exactly. And it's just like taking that step of faith, like like God, God's gonna take care of me because God don't want me being just disrespected, just like treating your child like
Absolutely.
trash. Yes. And two other things. I remember I started following you on Instagram when I saw you had posted a video. It was you singing with your guitar. It was amazing. Um, I can't remember the line that you said, but it was something about coming into 2023. Um, I'm not the best at remembering words, but I remember how I felt, and
Hmm.
I needed to see that. So talk about inspiring. Like I really needed to see that and to hear it. Um, and then three, folks, y'all know that the Queen's social media information to her clothing line, will all be in the episode description below. Her Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above will be in the episode description below so that everyone can go check you out and things like that. Look at the apparel because um, once this episode airs, you are global. You are global, top 14 most followed podcast. So I want to see you win. I love to see just I love it. I want to see you win. I just love to see people
Thank
grow.
you.
Yeah, seriously. And folks on here know like this is all free. This is all free. I don't accept payments for promotions. I'm like, no, come on, talk about it on my show. I want to get you out there. You know, we just all trying to win. So,
That's it.
yes, we all trying to win. Okay, so today, folks, we'll be talking about not giving up, unhealthy relationships and boundaries, healing after trauma, and more. Because y'all know how this podcast works, it's just very conversational. So we might start at a topic and end at something completely different, and that is okay because what if someone needed to hear something completely different?
Hmm.
So, Queen, um, let's get started on not giving up. I'm curious about that. What does that mean
Well,
to you?
to me, it just means being persistent and being
Mm,
consistent. A lot of times you will hear no. Um, it doesn't mean you're not good at what you do. It doesn't mean you're not smart enough or talented enough. It just means maybe not right now. You got a little more work to do before you're ready. And that's
mm-hmm,
fine, but it doesn't mean that you quit working on your craft in the meantime. And I struggle
mm-hmm,
with that a lot, especially with social media. For every
mm,
person who's a content creator or influencer, there's 30 more that do the same thing, sometimes better. So when you're in this field, especially as a Black woman, it's so easy to be compared. Oh,
mm,
this reminds me of such and such, or so and so can sing better, or so and so's lyrics are funnier.
mm,
And I just have to tune all that stuff out because at the end of the day, God gave my vision to me. It's not for other people to understand. It's not for you to criticize or pick apart. I'm all for people helping, leveling up, giving, supportive, positive feedback. But if you just over here hating, we ain't got time for that. I'm too
right,
busy trying to get somewhere. So I
right,
can't stop what I'm doing to be distracted by a person who doesn't really understand why I'm doing it.
right.
So I said all that to say, to people, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be times where you don't feel like doing it. But my brother said something really poignant this morning. He said, if you want to spend money on things without
Mm,
looking at the price, you're gonna have to get accustomed to working without looking at the clock. And
mm.
what that means
Ooh,
is, right, what that means is, you know, you might have quit your 9 to 5, but now you're working more than 60 plus hours a week on your own business and your social media marketing and things like that. And so you just have to understand the space that you're going into and know that anytime you level up, it's going to require a different version of you. You're going to have to
yeah.
go harder, be smarter, make better decisions, work longer. You're going to have to spend more, invest
Mm-hmm,
more. So don't think of it as being tired and overworked. Think of it as I'm putting in the time right now because when I get where I want to be, I'm chilling.
right.
And I'm if the Lord would just crack the sky just a little bit more,
Yeah.
I'm about to be there. Okay.
Yes,
So, I've
yes.
been putting in a lot of work and spent a lot of time perfecting my craft. This is what I do. So I'm going to reap the benefits of my labor. It's
Right.
not an expense, it's an investment. And when you look at things
Mm,
that way, you understand that there's a return coming.
yes. Mm, that is phenomenal because that's something that I always struggled with. Um, the whole not giving up notion. Um,
Mhm.
now, how my life has went, and I think it's Holy Spirit. A lot of the times, I'm just like I literally don't know how to quit. I just
Mm.
don't know how to quit, and honestly, most of the time, that is definitely I look back and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't give up, even though I wanted to, even though I felt like it. Um, because sometimes feeling like it, that's gonna happen. Um, However, there are those few moments
Mm-hmm.
where that's okay. Oh, okay. So someone had told me one time that there can be a difference between quitting and giving up.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like that job that I was in, I needed to quit. Like there was once upon a time where I stayed in the position where it was not healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had such a mindset of I'm not going to I can't quit. I can't quit. I can't quit. Um and then someone had told me, and I slowly started to see it, that there can be a discernment between giving up and quitting. Quitting is when can be this situation is so unhealthy for you, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
leave. And then giving up is that aspect of I'm giving up on my dreams because I'm not seeing results right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had really showed me that discernment between um, quitting can be something healthy, but giving up is not something healthy.
Giving up gives the connotation that there's more to be done,
Yeah.
as if you're
Mhm.
stopping before the end.
Yeah.
Quitting is all right. I done had enough. This is
Right.
it. I'm not doing this no more. And that comes with, establishing boundaries. Like you said, you mentioned, that's another topic that we're going to cover.
Hmm.
When you establish healthy boundaries, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with them because for so long they have benefited from you not having any. And
Hmm.
so when you start saying, no, I won't tolerate this. No, this is no longer good enough. This does not serve me. I can't continue to put myself in this position. You're going to make some people mad,
Right.
but it's not worth the turmoil that you will be going through internally to
Right.
be, to appease other people. It's just
Right.
not. You have to do what's best for yourself. At the end of the day, that's all you can control. When if you married and you care about what your partner thinks, that's great. I understand that.
Hmm.
But even in certain instances like that, you have to say, all right, we're not going to do this. What are we going to do instead? Something smarter or healthier or more beneficial for all parties involved.
Right.
And if the answer is quit,
Right.
deuces.
Yeah. And that's something like you said, we're gonna touch on boundaries. Speaking of boundaries, yeah, that's definitely something that I learned that, um at least for me, it was kind of like I needed to communicate, okay, you crossing a boundary. Because some people didn't know and some of them respected it. But I learned that when you set a boundary and folks like don't respect it, that's because they're benefiting from you not having boundaries. And once that benefit is taken, they don't like it. They don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, and so and it sucks because Queen, sometimes it can be your own family.
Yeah. Well, they resent you for wanting better. And
Yeah.
it's been good for you. It's been good enough all this time. Okay, well, it ain't no more.
Right.
It's really that simple. It ain't no more.
Right.
It's no longer good enough. I don't what's not clicking.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to be firm with people and say, this
Hmm.
stops today. And
Yeah.
this is what, and the next time you do this is what's going to happen. And
Right.
a lot of people got to learn a hard lesson because, as my mama used to say when I was growing up, you don't believe fat meat greasy,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
you're going to learn today. Now, that you say stuff like, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
Then some people just got to be shown.
Right. Oh yeah. You should put that on a shirt. It ain't no mo. Just
Ain't no
there you
more.
go. It ain't no mo.
Ain't no more.
Right. Ain't no mo.
Mm-mm. Ain't no more.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Um, so Queen, so speaking of, let's see, so unhealthy relationships
Mm-hmm.
and boundaries. I want you to talk a little about that. Like, what's your experience with that? If you want to share. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we respect boundaries on this channel, but
Right.
yeah,
No, but I mean, I think that's something that every relationship faces, because you're two different people from two totally different places and you've had two totally different life experiences. So you're
Mhm.
trying to find the groove. You're trying to figure out what works for both of you as a unit. And boundaries will be crossed at times because maybe this is the way you grew up. Well, I didn't grow up that way. I'm not used to that. So
Mhm.
let's either, unless it's, abuse of any kind, you know, it's a meet in the middle compromise situation. Let's just
Right.
figure out what works best for both of us. But if you are dealing with somebody in a relationship who is repeatedly violating your boundaries, that's a
Mhm.
situation that you need to quit because they've made it very clear that they do not care about how they're making you feel. They
Mhm.
do not care about doing the work to change the situation. And in essence, you're not valuable to them.
Right.
You're unimportant because when you care about the value that a person brings to your life, or when you care about your relationship with them, you do what's necessary to keep it intact.
Right.
It's really that simple. And a lot of women, we fall prey to this all the time. We see somebody's potential. He could be so this and he could be so that. And the thing is, what is he right now?
Right.
It's not about building a business or getting finances in order. We know that stuff takes time. But if he cussing you out every day and putting your head between the washer and dryer, sis,
Right.
that's not a situation. You want to stay in that until it gets better. That means you're going to be repeatedly abused until he figures it out or it gets to a better
Right.
situation. Like, I'm not willing to withstand that because I don't know how long this change is gonna take.
Right.
You get your stuff together. When you done, call me.
Right.
If I'm available and interested in giving it a shot, we can give it a shot. But
Yeah.
until then, no, you do not get the opportunity to repeatedly mistreat me while you make excuses for your poor behaviors.
Right. Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely for a season in my life as I grow and as I learn myself and as I heal um from just trauma. Um I've learned now I'm not falling in love with potential no more. I'm not falling in love
Right.
with idea no more. I'm going to state the reality. Um,
Hmm.
because there's that chance that what if that person doesn't? What if they don't quote unquote change? Or,
Right.
like you said, like, you know, you, what if you have to like wait 5 years, but put up with 5 years of abuse for that person to change? It's just it's not
And you don't know what you're putting yourself through. You're changing yourself.
yeah.
Like, you have to deal with what's going on right now. Right now, in this moment, are you able to meet me where I am emotionally to
Right.
make sure that this relationship works? If the answer is no, then don't waste your time. Let
Right.
them go figure out who they are and who they want to be
Yeah.
on their own, because
Right.
that's essentially their responsibility, the same way that it's yours.
Yeah. That's a good point. You make a good point, Queen. Come through with the wisdom.
Well, I do a little something, I know a little
Right,
something.
right. You're just like, I don't like
It's always so
brag,
funny when
but
people always think because I be laughing and joking and stuff. I'm like, bro, I really know some things. Like I've
oh
I've
yeah.
lived a lot in 33 years and I've experienced so much trauma, love,
What? You're
relationships.
33?
Yes, honey.
I
Auntie, oh
s-
baby, the knees give it away every time. Yes, people always be shocked when I tell them. I'm like, baby, I am old. I am very much old. But it's like everybody goes through things. And so,
yeah.
like I take those lessons and I do better the next time, just like everybody else. It's
Right.
not, I try to get people out of feeling shame and embarrassment for past mistakes. A lot of the difference between
Mhm.
what we see today and what we actually was doing back in the day is camera phones.
Mhm.
So, thank God I grew up from a place where, I can speak with wisdom from a place of maturity and
Mhm.
self-awareness. A lot of people
Mhm.
are not self-aware. They just out here living. And so
Yeah.
you don't know if you make a mistakes, if this is good for you or if it concerns, or affects somebody else negatively. So these are all things that come with time. You have to really grow up and seek these things out.
Yeah.
A
Mhm.
better way of life. My parents were great parents. I did not
Mhm.
grow up in an abusive home. My parents were married. They loved on us. We took vacations. They came to track meets and cheerleading practices, all
Oh.
of that stuff. I had all of that stuff, and it still wasn't perfect.
Right.
So, as an adult, you have to figure out what works for you. You have to unlearn and relearn certain things. And
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. We all go through that. So, just
Right.
know that you're not by yourself. A lot of us don't know what the heck we doing. We
Right.
just figure life out, as it happens. And that's all of us, So once you get to that place though, you'll be so grateful that you made certain changes and certain decisions because it really puts you in the best possible position.
Yeah. Y'all, I thought she was 22 years old. She looks 22.
Ah,
You look 22. It's just, you look 22. I was like, there's no way you're 33.
honey, it's the melanin. The
But
black don't crack. The black don't crack, baby.
oh my goodness. That's something amazing that you had mentioned. Literally everything you just said. It's resonating because learning and unlearning, that does not feel good.
Hmm.
And Holy Spirit had to teach me it's okay to unlearn.
Hmm.
It's okay. You're not a bad person for unlearning things. You're not a bad person for learning things. Holy Spirit's like, you're not finding yourself. You're learning yourself. You're growing.
Right.
Change comes with growth. Mistakes comes with growth. Um, and Holy Spirit also taught me, speaking of mistakes, that failure is a precursor to success.
It's how you learn. The only
Yeah,
way you learn how to do things the right way is by doing them the wrong way, maybe a couple of times. And
right.
it's a bunch of different ways to do a lot of things. So you figure out what works for you.
Yeah,
It's nothing more than that. But we take our
right.
failures so personally because we feel like we should be further in life or we should know more.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to get that out of me. The
Mm-hmm.
spirit of perfection. I will never
Oh
be
yeah.
perfect. I will
Right.
never ever be perfect. Now, will I always do my best? Absolutely. But it ain't gonna never be perfect.
Right.
So you have to stop putting that unnecessary pressure on yourself and just know you're above all else, you are human. When it all
Right.
boils down, you're still human. We're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay.
Right. And I had to take um that burden of perfectionism off of me. I had to heal out of that. Um because I saw pros with it, but honestly, it's like the older I got, I started seeing a lot more cons with it, and as I learned myself, self awareness and all that stuff. I'm really huge on self awareness, especially. Um, but girl, I lost my train of thought. But I lost my train of thought. Oh no, I still lost it. Oh no, I don't. I do that a
Well, look, I
lot.
don't know what you was thinking, so I can't help
I
you
don't.
out. I
What
don't
was
know.
I
I'm sorry.
saying? What was I saying? It was something really good too. Well,
We were just talking about not being perfectionists, understanding that you're human and that
oh
you make mistakes.
yes, that was the thing. Because perfectionism started manifesting in other areas of my life, and not in good ways.
Mhm.
Me beating myself up harder and harder and harder. You know, because I got an 89 on a test, I beat myself up, and I'm like, see, you literally did your best. You ain't got to beat yourself
Right.
up. So what I started to do was take myself off of that pedestal mindset. And
Hmm.
for those around me, I had to clearly state, I'm not on a pedestal. Because, there would be some people in my life, a lot of people, um, when I was a people pleaser uh,
Hmm.
back then, would tell me I'm an angel or this or that. And, but it's like when I would fall short, I'm no longer that. I'm no longer
Right.
none of that. And so recently in my life, I started clearly stating, and I also encourage others, you know, um, do not be a pedestal around me because pedestals, they break. They break.
Hmm.
No human um, is able to stand on a pedestal for that long without it breaking.
Hmm.
It's going to break. And so that's what, I started telling myself. I started, setting boundaries with others, telling them, you know, um, I do my absolute best. I really do. Um, but I am human. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be acknowledgeable and accountable of my mistakes. I am open for, being held accountable. Um, However, the whole thing of I'm not supposed to make mistakes, or I don't know, like that just had to, and that I grew up in a very abusive home. Um, and my dad was a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I'm
we
sure that
were
was probably very conflicting growing up.
very,
Yeah.
okay, very ain't the word.
Look,
Just,
somebody say that ain't Jesus, but
oh yeah, for
that's
setting my
what they do.
boundaries. For
Yeah.
setting my boundaries. Yeah, for setting my boundaries. Well, if you were Christian, you I'm just like, I'm setting my boundaries. You're not going to, you know, continue to allow abuse to happen
Mm-hmm.
and I not speak up about it.
Right.
You know, but yeah, so on the outside, we had to be very pedestal. We had to be on a pedestal on the outside of the home. And so that started, so I internalized perfectionism. I internalized that pedestal mindset. I internalized, the stage. Everything's all perfect on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thank God, through my healing journey and my just trauma journey, um, he has brought he has showed a lot of wisdom and showed that there is something that goes on behind the stage. Like the person that didn't just get on the stage one day just all perfect and stuff like that. I was like, no, there took some mistakes and stuff like that,
Right.
but we don't see that. That's not really that glamorized of that honesty that comes with success and stuff like that. Because society, we have this perfectionist mindset. It's kind of
Right.
like we're conditioned to have that. Um,
And another thing that I learned just is through self-awareness journey,
mm-hmm.
a lot of that is ego as well. I have learned to check my ego early and often because your
Mm-hmm.
ego will put you on a pedestal. Not that you want people to worship at you and bow down, before you and fall all at your feet, but just the simple fact that you want them to think
Mm-hmm.
highly of you.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be respected. There's nothing wrong
Right.
with wanting to have a good reputation. Everybody wants
Right.
those things. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you're still human and you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
And you have to give yourself a break. And that
Yeah.
means taking a step back from ego. I had to learn that because that ego
Mm-hmm.
will make you think, well, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. If I don't do this, they're gonna think that, man, who cares? I
Right.
do what
Right.
is within my means at all times. I don't put myself, I no longer, because I used to, I no longer put myself in uncomfortable positions around people who don't support me, or,
Right.
or in situations, where I'm not given the freedom to be myself. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
This is who I am. This is what you're going to get. That's
Right.
it's simply that, and just being able to rest in that space of knowing who you are and knowing that that's good enough. You don't have to overperform for people's love or affection,
Right.
especially when they don't appreciate it, because we all sometimes people please and we all, go above and beyond to try to make people see our work. It is not your fault if somebody don't understand that you're valuable.
Right.
In the right hands, in the right environment, they're going to bring out every other good thing about you because they truly do understand your worth.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, that I always think about when it comes to relationships. Like people out here doing each other dirty, man. They doing each other dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't want no parts of that. I want
Right.
love and romance and happiness and softness and gifts and communication and
Right.
and like I want to be fully loved in a
Right.
safe and healthy way. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. And I ask that because I know I require that because I know that I can reciprocate.
Right. Bingo. That's huge. Yeah. I had Holy Spirit told me, um, was like, you want these things, but the things that you want, like out of a partner, can you
Mhm.
also give that? you
Right.
know um And once upon a time, I said, no, I don't think I can get that. Now I'm like, oh, I would marry me. Like, I was just like, if I was another person, I was just like,
Right.
these qualities, I was like, okay. But something that you had mentioned, oh yeah, I love what you had mentioned, about the worth and value. And that's something recently Holy Spirit had taught me was um for me, I don't ever want to be deserving because a synonym for deserving is earned. Worth is freely given. It's just worth another synonym
It's
for
determined by what somebody is willing to pay. So
right,
it literally varies from person to person.
right,
Like you might not be worth it to this person,
right.
but this person over here will see you and then you're worth everything. So,
Yeah,
it's a very fluid term.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And something recently that I wanted to share recently is I wasn't planning to share this, but you had made me think about it, and I was like, you know what? Why not? It's vulnerability time. My relationship with God, He showed me that before and after the fall, we were worth it. We were never meant to be deserving. We are above deserving. We are worth. Because deserving is
Mm-hmm.
earned, worth is freely given. And that's the thing when it comes to love. I shouldn't have to work for it. I shouldn't have to earn for it. Like, I can work for a relationship, work on a relationship. Yeah, sure. But the love aspect, I feel like if I have to be deserving of someone's love, I don't want it. I don't want it because that's conditional. It's based off of my performance. It's based off of how perfect I can be to this
Mm-hmm.
person. And when everyone, around me had their own definition of perfect, it's kind of like I had to like be perfect in this way, be perfect in that way, be perfect in this way to this person. And I was like, I can't do all that. I am one human being, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful that now in my life I have people to where I am just worth. And I just thank God for showing me that like we we didn't do nothing to deserve love. We are because we are worth it. Don't gotta do
Mm-hmm.
nothing to deserve love. If it's so, I don't think that that's love. I think that's conditioned. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's I don't know.
Well, I be telling people, maybe I'm a bad person, but my love conditional. I got a few conditions. Condition
Hmm.
number one, you're not gonna disrespect me.
Oh yeah, that's different. That's
I be having
right,
conditions with my love. So when people be
right,
like, "Oh, I want the same kind of love that God had," no, no, because see, I'm not God.
right. Oh my
My
God,
love
same,
comes with
same.
conditions.
Yeah,
I don't want to be treated this way. I require
right.
these things. I have this to bring to the relationship, so I
Mhm.
need you to have this. I just got a few conditions. It
Right,
ain't outlandish. It's not, it's not something
right.
that's unrealistic.
Hmm.
But I do have a few conditions, and so
Yeah,
I just be telling I be telling people that up front. Don't
you and
think
me both.
you just don't think that I'm
Yeah,
just, finna be let you walk all over me or whatever. But
right,
I'm a very caring person. I'm a giving person, and
right,
that about me is never going to change.
right,
Now I might change who I give that side of myself to,
right.
but I'm still going to always be that person because that's the best way. Being me has benefited me so much in my life.
Yeah.
Trying to emulate others, I fell on my face every single time. When I grew to love who I was and became aware of who I am, what all I come with, how
Hmm.
special, how important,
Right.
how good I am at what I do. I
Yeah.
just said, all right, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
We just gonna be me until the
Right.
wheels fall off.
That's you bring me to my second point that I was gonna make. Queen is in the midst of loving others, we gotta love ourselves enough
Mhm.
to say, you know, I love you, but I don't love how you're treating me.
Right.
I'm not going to keep, and I'm going to be honest, that's something that I strive for is to still like just when I say love people but not love how they treat me, and I got to let them go, got to, set my boundaries, and if they can't respect it, they have to leave out of my life. Cuz I like to use the term selfish because selfish doesn't necessarily, we give it a negative connotation. It doesn't necessarily mean, um, oh, I only think about me. No, it's like you're important, but I'm also important as well. And it's just like I'm not going to put up with certain things. And
Hmm.
so,
I'm very selfish, honey.
yeah, you have to be.
But
And
I feel like with no extra responsibilities,
mhm,
like I'm a business person. I'm a brand.
right,
I can be selfish,
right,
you know,
exactly.
and when it's
Yeah,
time to sacrifice some of those selfish characteristics or behaviors, then I will gladly do that for a
right,
person who is reciprocating or for
yeah,
a job or some experience that I will benefit from. I'm not going
yeah,
to continue investing time and energy in things that don't pour back into me. And I think that
right.
that's fair for any person.
1000%.
So
Oh
you
yeah.
can be selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what for me when I talk about like um love you but I got to let you go. I
Hmm.
say that because to be honest, I just don't want to hate
Hmm.
them. And I just don't want to hate them. But I'm like, I don't know how else to hate but to love. Or I'm like, I'm still figuring that out in that arena.
Hmm.
But I just know that I don't want to hate them because hate is a gun with boomerang bullets. It's just like, oh no, I shoot me. It's just like, I try to
Yeah.
shoot you, it comes right back to me. And I was just like, it starts affecting me. And so I'm like, I love therapy. I'm a fan for therapy.
Hmm.
But sometimes I'm like, well, here we go again. And, that was when I didn't really recognize my boundaries. I
Hmm.
wasn't taught boundaries um, and things of that nature. And it's just like a lot of times the quote unquote love that I was given to people back then, it was really just a trauma response because I
Hmm.
was too afraid to speak up. I
Hmm.
was too afraid. I was too afraid to do this, too afraid to do that. So I just let people use and walk all over me um, because I thought that that was quote unquote love because that's what was shown to me in my household.
Hmm.
Conditional, walk all over, disrespect. So I let people do that to me because I thought that that was love. And part of my healing journey, healing from trauma, which we'll get into, is I'm like, that was a trauma response.
Hmm.
Now I know how to love me. I'm not ashamed to
Right.
say it. And I was like, I'm still learning. And it's like, I'm still learning my worth. And part of that is, but I know what I'm not worth. I'm not worth, you treating me like this. I'm not worth you physically abusing me. I'm not worth that. You know what I mean? And so that's what I love about, having and I don't say this in a cliche way. Like, folks on this podcast, y'all know I don't talk about God in a cliche way because I'm really honest with Him, Queen. But sometimes when I'm like, you getting on my nerves, what is wrong with you? I be cussing. I'm just like, God,
Hmm.
what is wrong with you? I'm trying to work on my profanity. That's why I'm not saying the curse words. But I'm just like, God, what the is wrong with you? What's,
Well,
what's wrong with
we
you?
do. We get angry sometimes because we
Yeah.
wonder why me. And what I'm learning in life is that I'm the best person to do it. I have the platform, I have the
Yes.
resources. I've been able to bring people so much peace and healing through my content. And
Yes.
one thing that was very important for me to understand about healing after trauma is that healing requires forgiveness, whether it's for reconciliation
Hmm.
or it's for closure to leave
Right.
something alone. And when dealing with myself, the healing and the forgiveness had to be for reconciliation because at one point I didn't love myself or I allowed people to use me, abuse me, treat me any kind of way. I made mistakes. But one thing that has really, really helped me is that I'm in a much better place now. And I have to remember that I'm not those mistakes. That's a small part of my story. The bigger picture is, I'm helping people find their voices. I'm
Yeah.
getting them through
Mm.
their day. I'm literally saving them from a lot of the trauma that, I had to go through. And
Yeah.
so, like healing after trauma, it might look like being in the house for 6 months, not doing much,
Right.
just focusing on your work. Healing might mean, you know what, we let that relationship go. I'm going to start back hanging out with my friends. I'm going to start back, doing things that I love, taking trips, visiting family, whatever the case may
Hmm.
be. Healing looks different for everybody, but
Yeah.
it is very lonely, regardless of how many people you have around you, because at the end of the day, that word I,
Hmm.
you have to really understand what that means. It's
Yeah.
just you,
Yeah.
me, myself, I.
Right.
Can't nobody come in your life and fix what's broken in you.
Right.
They can distract you from it for a little bit,
Ooh.
but they can't make you feel better about yourself. They can't make you value yourself, or they can't make you establish boundaries for yourself. So
Hmm.
when you really get down to it, you have to understand that you are solely responsible for your healing. The trauma might not be your fault.
Right.
But we too old to be saying, "Oh, my daddy did this, and
Right.
my mama used to talk to me like that." Baby, you 40.
Right. Right.
When are you research everything else? You know how to find the latest J's, the newest lace fronts,
Yeah.
Beyonce tickets. You know how to get everything else. Go get some healing. Go get some
Right.
healing. It's time for us
Right.
to be accountable for that. I get it. I know trauma was painful. It hurt you.
Right.
Got it. Understood. We're sensitive to that very much.
Right.
Also, what are you doing to change the situation?
Right. Yep. And that's something I noticed um in my life. My counselor told it, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I am proud of myself because I was able to discern because I was on my own since 7. I was able eventually when I was 15. I really thank God. Like, y'all know, I don't say this in a cliche way. Like, I'm like, I actually couldn't have done it without him. Is I ain't perfect, but to discern holding them accountable.
Hmm.
Yes, they are accountable for their actions. That was not my fault whatsoever.
Hmm.
However, it's not fair to me to not heal. It's not fair to me to not be responsible. Because, I mean, it's just not fair. I'm not going to let them do all that stuff, to me, and I just sit with it and not heal and, just traumatized and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I gotta do something. I gotta get
Yeah.
healing. I gotta get help.
You're
Um,
robbing yourself of joy
right.
when you cling to those things and continue to say,
Yeah.
well, I'm this way because you don't have to be that way though.
Right.
You don't have to live like that. You don't have to accept that. You very much do deserve to be treated with respect and to be loved and cared for.
Yeah.
All of that. You're worth all of that. So like you can't spend your whole
Yes.
life not being happy. Life is too short to spend it
Right.
throwing money down a drain. Like
Right.
literally, that's what it's like when you don't take accountability for your healing. You
Right.
just throw away the best things to empty places. You're
Right.
constantly spending,
Mm.
spending, 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 but you're not investing. Therapy for me was an investment. I've
Mm.
been in therapy for years, and it's some ugly things I learned about myself, but
Yeah.
it made me a much better me because
Yeah.
in all of my failed relationships or friendships or family relationships, whatever it was,
Yeah.
it's two people. In any relationship there's at least two parties. That's the definition. There's a relationship between A and B, so there are
Right.
two people that were responsible for it not working out. So you have to really take a look at yourself and see, even if you were being totally abused and disrespected, what inside you makes you think that you deserve to be treated like that.
Right.
So go and figure out who you are, so
Right.
you don't accept less than. This is not excusing the behaviors
Right.
of abusers by any means. We
Right.
always hold them accountable. I'm a huge advocate in that way. But one thing you have to you have to really figure out is, why do I tolerate this?
Right.
Is it because your mom and dad treated you this way? Is it because you felt like an outcast at school? So like, what's the reason? And
Right.
then build yourself up. Be confident in who you are, because everything that's in you, somebody needs it. And it might not be a romantic relationship. It might be a friendship, or it might be a business move. You never know.
Right.
But people are suffering because, you know, they they think that this is the way it is and it's not.
Right.
So, when you know better, you do better.
Right. You said, ooh, and something that you did mention that when you said that word worth, that reminded me, in times when I feel like giving up on my healing journey, because it's hard sometimes. Sometimes my
Hmm.
healing looks like I'm crying on that bed. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm glad we love therapy. Yes, love it. Um, but yeah, I remind myself, and let me be honest, I don't remind just myself. I feel like sometimes God reminds me, sometimes my friends remind me, but they remind me this, and I remind me this is, aren't you worth the love that you never got when you were little? Aren't you worth the
Absolutely.
freedom that you were supposed to have? And I'm just like, you are worth that love. You are worth that freedom. You are worth that happiness, that joy, that they might have tainted or robbed or stole from you. So that's my one of my new motivations for my healing journey is that they might have taken that from me. However, can I get it back? I can get it back.
Hmm.
And it might not be from them. It might be loving myself. It might look like a multitude of things. But I'm
Hmm.
like, am I not worth finding that out? I'm worth it. So, that's what keeps me in the days where I'm just like, the healing journey gets hard. And it's
Hmm.
just, but like I said earlier, when it comes to that, I literally don't know how to quit. I literally don't know how to give up when it comes to my healing journey. And I'm glad that that's great. Sometimes it don't feel good in the moment, but literally looking back and I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm so glad that I don't know how to give up in that area. That is honestly a place that I want to be and I want to stay. But literally, and I tell my friends this, I'm like, I literally don't know how to I wish I could just sweep things under the rug, or I can just I was like, I literally don't know how to.
Yeah.
I can, I don't know how to, and it's just like now I'm like, okay, that's a great thing, but
Well, it's years of determination.
yeah,
You'll see some people at 36 years old who just lack drive, ambition, and motivation.
yeah,
Like it's okay for them to not keep trying. They're like, okay, well, this is the best I can do.
yeah,
And I ain't built like that. Like
right,
my daddy put in me early, like, be the best,
yeah,
do your best, do your best,
yeah,
not what other people expect from you. Do your best and be fully at peace with what you give to the world. Because when you look in the mirror in the morning time, that's it. Are
yeah,
you happy with what you see?
right, right,
Cause when baby, it took me a while to get here. Okay. It took me a while to get here, but you can
yeah,
call me a lot of things. Broken, ugly, and not ambitious. That ain't one of them. You can't say I'm not a hard worker. You can't say
right,
I lack integrity. You can't say I'm not kind and compassionate. You can't say that I lack confidence. You can say
right,
plenty of things about me, but those aren't some of the things that you can say. And
right,
that's because I created that kind of life for myself.
right,
I took the opportunity to make myself responsible for that.
right,
And so, like it life goes through phases. We have ups and downs.
yeah,
Every day ain't a good day.
right.
But overall though, I'm a bad woman. I'm a
Ooh,
bad woman.
yes, I gotta mention this,
Now
Alex.
that now that's the sound bite right there.
There it is. There you go. Oh my God! I look. I it's Alex. I know you listening. You know what say. I say I'm a bad bee. So it was just funny that you had mentioned you said I'm a bad woman because I told him the other day. I was like, I'm a bad bee. Let's be honest. All that I've been through, and look at me. So
Resilience. Keep coming back.
yes.
Can't be defeated. Like, bruh, that is such an underrated quality in people.
Yeah.
Like, I am a fighter. I learned that my mama told me that recently, and it clicked for me. I thought that I was maybe difficult or controlling, or unwilling to compromise. No, I'm
Mm,
just a fighter.
right.
I know what I want. I know what I need. I know what I'm worth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for it.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
That not willing to compromise. That's the thing. Um yep, nobody made a change by being like everybody else. So,
That's it.
that's right. It's the fighters that we see, making moves.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh, Queen, I know we're running out of time. I want to be respectful of your time. But I wanted to give you a couple minutes to remind us again about your platform
Hmm.
and your clothing line. I didn't know you had a clothing line. That's pretty cool.
Yes, go
Um,
get you some stuff. We got
I'm gonna get me some
everything.
stuff. I'm gonna get me some stuff.
Yes,
I really
I
will.
love sharing it with people because it's like I
Yeah.
said, it's uplifting for people who look like us. And
Yeah.
there are so many obstacles on a daily basis, especially for Black men. I mean, so it's I felt almost obligated, if I'm going to be doing content, because I talk about some crazy topics, but I subtly remind people with the messaging on my shirts, hey, Black women are necessary. Black men are my love language. I'm wearing a hoodie right now that says it's okay to be Black. All of these things because so many people have told us the opposite or have
Mhm.
shown us through history the opposite. And so it's very important to me, as a Black woman in this industry to remind people every chance I get. It's funny, I can sing a little bit, but also respect me as the woman that I am. And
Right.
so that website is okay to be apparel. That's okay, the number two, be apparel. And then also you can reach me everywhere on social media at Indescribable. That's INDESKRIBEABULL. You can also go to indescribable.com and get every link to everything. I do promo, I do hosting, I do shows. Hey, it's 2023. Everything is up. We lit.
Yes.
We lit.
Yes. And like I said, folks, all of that will be in the episode description. Queen, I need you to email me all of that so I can put it in the episode description.
Will do.
Also, oh, I'll ask you this. Are you willing, like, let's say someone from another country wants you to, you know, do a show or to host, and they're willing to, pay, would you be willing to go?
Absolutely. They just got to send me an email.
Yes, because I'm sure someone's going to be reaching out to you. This is heard in so many different
I
countries.
would love it.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna just name a few countries that this is listened to, just because I want to start doing shout outs more, and also to show you, Queen, um, because you're a fighter, you're heard all over the world. I mean, you already got a platform to do that, but
Mhm.
here's another one. So, of course, this is heard in the US, this is heard in the UK, Canada, Croatia, Philippines, Sweden, Brazil, Australia, Norway, Nigeria, Botswana, Kenya, France, India, Vietnam, I'm out of breath, US Virgin Islands, Italy, Mexico, Spain, Romania, Malta, and the Czech Republic. This is all the places that the podcast is consistently heard in. So, your healing, your story, your platform, and your voice, because you did not give up. You
Mhm.
were. I'm so proud of you because I'm not.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not just proud of your success. I'm proud of what we don't see. The parts
Mhm.
where you felt like giving up. The dark parts, because I know a lot of times in society we just applaud the end, we applaud the success, we don't ever really acknowledge or applaud what about the middle. The middle sometimes
Mhm.
is the longest, hardest, darkest part. So
Mhm.
that's what a leader is to me, you know what I mean? I just don't get that motivated by just seeing people's success, like
Mhm.
I have to, like, see, that's why I like your page, because not only your success shines so bright, but there's also substance that follows along with it that lets
Mhm.
people know that, you know, this success didn't just pop out of nowhere. This
Yeah, we
this
had we
wasn't
had to work.
always easy. Right.
We had to work. There's a story behind it, and one day I'll write a book. I can't wait to share it with everybody. But for now, I'm just getting this money stacking so I can create a life that my children don't have to also heal from.
I, that is, I don't know what sound bit to do. I just don't. I'm gonna have to. I don't know what sound bit to do. Oh gosh, this episode, you were just so inspiring. But
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate you reaching out. I'm always happy to talk to people and share my story. Because I do feel like, as an influencer or as a creator, like you said, a lot of times we just see the content and people have no idea what all it takes. We work a lot, we overextend ourselves, we're tired, we need a break, a vacation. I miss my mama, I miss my daddy, I wish I could see my nieces and nephew as much and my brothers, but auntie got to work. Auntie got to work. So
yes,
just know in a couple of years when you ain't got to worry about nothing, I'm hustling and writing and creating and doing everything that I can because this is my legacy.
yes,
This is my legacy and I take that very seriously.
yes, yes, Queen. Well, with that being said, folks, this has been another episode of Vulnerability Time. If no one has told you today that they love you, please allow yourself to be the first, and I will be the second, folks. I love you and I life you, and I
Thank you
send
so
you
much.
with peace. Yes,
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
yes. It was amazing. Alrighty, bye, folks. Queen, stay on just a little bit longer. I'm gonna end the episode.
Got you.
Yes, okay. Hey there, if you liked this episode, go ahead and buy my book on Amazon. What the book is called, type it on Amazon. It is Spoken by Trenton Epizon. Epizon is spelled Epizon. I really would appreciate the support. Give it a review, give it a buy, give it a try. And I promise you, you will not be upset at it. It is a poetry book. It is a very easy, quick read, and it definitely will give you some healing and some insight and some wisdom on abuse, mental health, recovery, the tragedy to triumph. You will love it. Give it a buy, give it a try, and recommend the book and this episode with others. Go ahead and give this podcast a follow and share it with others. You could be the reason that someone is alive tomorrow because you decided to share this episode today. This podcast is about saving lives, healing ourselves and others, and encouraging others and ourselves as well. Thank y'all so much for the support. Love y'all. I life y'all. I will see y'all next episode. You are valuable. You are beautiful. You are still on this earth because you have the strength. Thank you. Bye, folks.